Yes, we are live. Welcome, my dear friends. This is episode number 69 of Zero Point Healing Show. And today we have an amazing, beautiful modality that we are going to talk about, which was very, very interesting for me to hear. And this is the first time I'm seeing it as well. So it's about the integrative paths channeling, and we are going to talk on the topic of creating inner peace. And so far, what I've heard about this beautiful modality, it has the ability to help us identify whatever kind of challenges and problems or root causes of the problems and challenges that we are facing, and it helps us to overcome those limitations. So that's what this is going to be about. Now, before I move on to the beautiful guest for today, just a short intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya, and I'm certified in multiple different healing modalities. And right now, I am an intuitive business coach for spiritual healers and spiritual entrepreneurs. And I help spiritual entrepreneurs in general build their business, show them to the world. So that's my personal specialization that I'm specializing in. But with regards to the Zero Point Healing, of course, the Zero Point Healing platform itself, it's a web directory for all holistic healing modalities, all different holistic healers and facilitators working in this area of helping humanity transform their limitations. So through my journey, I found different modalities that actually helped me overcome my limitations. And each of these modalities helped me take those next steps in life. And I think that's where I got inspired to create this kind of a platform, bringing all holistic healing modalities in one umbrella, so that for myself, I think now zeropointhealing.com is serving as a wonderful platform where I go in, I search for different healing modalities and different healers, and that's how it is helping myself. So that is what I wanted my end clients who would be watching the interviews and who would be searching for solutions for their own problems to have. And that's what zeropointhealing.com is all about. So if you are a holistic healer or any kind of facilitator, therapist, practitioner of any healing modality, I welcome you to zeropointhealing.com. You can register there, and if you're interested in one such interview with me, you can contact me for that as well. All right, so I am moving on to my beautiful guest here. Welcome, Friederike. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us your journey into this amazing holistic healing world.
Well, hello, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I think it's very exciting, and I'm really grateful for you to create such a platform, because I feel like there's really so many people now wanting different ways of healing. So my name is Friederike Peters. I am living in Munich in Germany. I am German, grew up in Germany. And yeah, my story, like, where do I start? So I'm now working as a healer and a singer. And my spiritual awakening and awakening to the healing world was always somehow connected to singing. My first or second voice teacher was a very strong Reiki practitioner that I had never heard before. And I got so curious, I'm like, I want to look into that at some point. When I was at my third voice teacher in the United States, I got this book called The Anatomy of the Spirit by Caroline Myss. And I gave her my voice teacher Reiki, and she was like crazy about it. And when I was at a singing workshop, a colleague of mine recommended Teal Swan to me, whose completion process I practice now as well. And so there's always been this kind of connection to singing, which was interesting to me. And then, of course, like most people, I had some really, really difficult moments in my life. When I was 19, I had really strong issues with sleeping. Then when I was 21, 22, I fell into a depression and everything was just really dark and I just felt like nothing was making sense. And then 2015, I fell into another hole. And what really helped me was when I discovered a hypnosis technique that works with your unconscious mind, that helps you, or helped me, integrate inner children, like my past pain. And it was so fascinating because sometimes the unconscious mind is so smart. I didn't even know what I was exactly integrating, but I just saw my life change over the months that I was learning that technique. And I was like, oh my God, I have to share this. And I have a degree in psychology, and I did this internship in hypnosis for that degree, or with that degree. And then I did a Reiki master's, and like all of these things that just came together. And when I heard about Teal Swan's completion process, for example, I was like, wow, this is so similar to the hypnosis thing that I learned. And there was something to it as well that I felt I really wanted. And that is when I saw a group of newly baked practitioners, I saw this intense, loving connection between them. And I'm like, oh my God, I want this as well. And so I got trained in that method, and that ultimately led me to, also volunteering for Teal Swan, and there getting in touch with parts work, which I integrated into my practice as well, and combined with the completion process and combined with the sound channeling that I do. And there's always energy healing involved when I do a session. I don't necessarily announce it, but it's just there. And yeah, like I could tell you so many little details, but I hope this was a good little roundup summary.
Yeah, summary of your past. And that's so amazing to see how you have combined your singing into the healing. So for me, I'm a dancer, and I come from that background from a very, very young age, and I got to do and learn about healing only like few years back, and then I kind of combined my dancing into healing at a later time. So when you said your story, I could feel it's a similar story that we are sharing. That's beautiful. So now let's get into the topic of today, which is integrative paths channeling. And when I heard about it, I was like, wow, is it a modality? I have never heard about it. So tell us what integrative paths channeling is. And I know some few parts of it, you have created it yourself. So tell us about the creation process. What kind of inspired you, and how you went about creating this kind of uniqueness of yours?
Yeah, so it came about through my work with completion process, which takes you really deep into your past traumatic memories to heal those. And I'd heard this term parts work a few times, and it was like, yeah, you work with your inner aspects that are in opposition to each other. And I was like, this is not the real thing. The real thing is like, you need to go down to the trauma and you feel it all. And I was really resistant to it, but then I was at Teal Swan's Mirror event in 2018. I was volunteering, and we're doing this group exercise, and I'm like, damn, this is really powerful. And I just started doing it. So basically, we're consciousness, and everything inside us is consciousness, and everything has its own consciousness. And if you don't want to speak in those like ultra spiritual terms, you can say anything has its own unique energetic signature. Anything has its own vibration. And when something is, off, means there's something off in the vibration or in the energy. And the same is psychologically and emotionally, not just physically. When we talk about, for example, the law of attraction, right? We're like, okay, whatever you want, you just put your mind to, and you focus on that and you feel all the feelings, and then it's going to come. But then what if it doesn't come? Then we're like, oh, it's just not meant for me, or whatever. We just get frustrated and bitter at some point, and we just kind of resign. And it might be that there's a part of us that we haven't yet seen, that we're unaware of, that for some reason works against that conscious goal of ours. So there's an unconscious side element in us that for some reason is afraid, doesn't want to, is against whatever we think we want. So what I do in this channeling is I open my consciousness. So it's like Friederike consciousness is still there, but it creates like a space, it creates a frame. And I will allow that part of you that is unconscious to come into me. So for example, someone might come and say, I don't know why I keep attracting unavailable men. I just don't know what it is. So then we would define, okay, what does this part do exactly, or how does it make you feel? And then I would say, do you allow me to channel that part of you? And then I literally become that part. And you won't even hear me speak as Friederike. Whatever I say or do, then from that point on, is your consciousness, that part of your consciousness speaking through me. And so you get a chance to speak to that aspect of you through me. And what's really important when we do this is that we meet these unconscious parts of ourselves with curiosity and openness, instead of, you're wrong, let me convince you that what I want is right. Because sometimes it's what happens. I always like to explain it that way. It's like, okay, you and I want to, go out for dinner. So I'm like, hey, come on, we want to go to this amazing restaurant. Let's go out for dinner. And you're like, I feel really sick. Like, I don't know. I just don't want to go. And I'm like, yeah, but it's this really great restaurant. Like, let's go. Like, it's so amazing. I know it's going to be amazing. And you're like, did you not hear what I just said? Like, I really feel sick. And if I just keep saying how amazing it is, at some point you're just going to be like, F you. Like, I don't want to talk with you anymore. And so we don't realize that that's what we do to ourselves often within ourselves. So during that conversation, there's so much healing that happens just by us getting in touch with and having an open conversation with these parts of ourselves. Now, the reason why I call it integrative parts channeling is because often at some point during the process, I will feel, now it's time for you to actually take that part and not for me to hold it anymore. And then we do this, I guide you through it, and it's like, you often will feel, oh, it feels like, I'm holding this little child, or I'm seeing this child, or maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's someone your age or older. It doesn't really matter, but you might even feel it in your body. It's then the last steps is for you to really embrace that, to visualize maybe providing that aspect with whatever it needs. And then we close that. And I say inner peace because the more we do this, the more peaceful and calm we feel inside. Because naturally, if we have so many parts that are like this, or that don't even know each other, then that creates inner conflict. And so that's what I started doing, and it works amazing. And I can combine it with the sound channeling that I do, with the singing, to kind of close it off, to involve another element of healing to it, which is the sound, which is the intuitive sound that your mind doesn't really get to access. It's just your heart that gets to access it. And yeah, that's basically what it is.
Sure. So that was my second question as well, which is the healing part. So now we understand. So if I'm your client, I have, let's say, any issue, relationship with, somebody, I have some kind of issue there, or it can be just physical health issue, right? Okay, there is some problem in my lungs, I have some problem in my kidneys, whatever it is. So I'm coming to
Mhm.
you, I'm telling you that, and you have the ability to take that consciousness of that part, and then I can ask questions once you are channeling that part, unconscious part of me. And I can ask questions like, all right, so you're not functioning properly with regards to my any part of my body, let's say. So if my, let's say, kidney is not working properly, so then I can have this conversation with that consciousness. I can
Mhm.
ask questions. Okay, so what is the root reason, why is it, and how long have you been, creating
Mm.
this discomfort, and all of those questions. And now we have found the answers to the questions. So then tell us how that healing part comes in. So you already said a little bit about the sound and the completion process you use. So
Mhm.
tell us a little more about how that final healing takes place towards the end of the session, what happens, and usually how long are the sessions as well.
Mhm. So last question first, the sessions are usually around 90 minutes, sometimes a bit faster, sometimes it takes longer. It takes however long it takes, mainly 90 minutes, maximum 2 hours. Um, the healing is within the whole process. It's hard to say, oh, it's just the end that matters. Because, for example, with the questions, it's not so much an interview, but it's really a conversation. And most likely, it doesn't stay on a mental plane. It's like, for example, when I channel, I often cry or I feel anger or something because I feel those emotions. And my clients feel those emotions too. And it's by finding out, for example, that often we both want the same thing. We just go about it in a different way. Or we realize, oh, wow, we are actually connected. We are actually feeling the same thing. That is already very healing. It's like when somebody sits with us in our pain and shows us empathy and compassion, that is already healing. But of course, you can say, okay, towards the end, when we feel like, okay, we're visualizing whatever, holding that child, and we visualize it, or we invite that consciousness to emerge, that would be the completion of the healing. And then sometimes you will also know, okay, there's a few things maybe that I need to change about my life, or that I want to change. But often, like recently, I had a client, she says, after that session, something really changed. I just started being able to look at men differently, because she had an issue with attracting unavailable partners, and maybe not being really able to be herself around them. And I honestly don't even remember what happened during the session, but she told me later, like, I don't know, but something really shifted in the way that I look at men, and the way that I see them changed, without me consciously saying, I need to change A, B, C. So that's really beautiful. So the healing is really in the emotional understanding and emotional presence with that aspect of ourselves. Because emotion, we like to say, it's energy in motion. And if we can create, a coherent motion again, things are going to naturally fall into place often. Sometimes maybe it takes some more sessions. Sometimes you get there right away, like I can never say. Sometimes it will be, okay, during the weeks after that, you will have some realizations and the healing is really going to settle in. Sometimes it's straight away. Sometimes after a few months, you'll say, oh, wow, I never had this issue again. I didn't even notice. We like to always want to understand everything immediately, and we want like instant proof. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes we'll have this realization after a while. We'll be like, oh, wow, Like I had a person come to my workshop, and that was also relationship related. She couldn't let go of her ex. She felt like she was constantly thinking of him. And we did some similar things in that workshop. And a few months later, she wrote me, she's like, wow, I realized I don't even think about him anymore. You know? But sometimes these changes happen and we're not even aware of them. You know?
Right, and that's so beautiful. Yes, that kind of puts everything in perspective, and understanding that even that channeling, as well as sitting and kind of, you're holding hands with that unconscious part of you. So that
Yeah.
itself is healing by itself. That's amazing. So let's now move on to the healing meditation that you have for us. So my dear
Yes.
viewers, Friederike is going to give us an amazing gift of quick 10-minute group healing. So let's go for it.
Okay. So first I need to warn you, because I will be doing a little sound channeling, and you might want to turn down the volume on your earphones, just in case it gets too loud. All right, so I'm going to ask you to, if you want, close your eyes. I'm going to close mine too. Just take 2-3 deep breaths, making your exhales a little longer than your inhales. And maybe somewhere you're still thinking about that conversation we just had. That's okay, but on another level, see if you can find some relaxation in your body, in your system. Anything that you might still hear outside of you can become less important, or remind you to connect even more with your inner world. So if you want, I invite you to put one hand in the center of your chest, in your heart center. And take a couple of slow, deep breaths as if you were breathing through that center, in and out. And I want to invite you to ask your heart, is there something that I need to see right now? Is there something that needs my attention, my awareness? Do I maybe feel some tension somewhere in my body? Or is there something, some thoughts that keep bothering me? Some emotions? Listen within. Your answer may come as a feeling, it may come as an image, a thought, a sensation. I invite you to be present with that without judging it, just acknowledging that it's there. And tell that aspect of you, I see you, and I'm here for you. And even though I might not exactly know what that means, what I need to do for you, or if I'm capable of doing it, I know you're here. And I'm going to now go into intuitive singing. And I invite you to imagine those sounds entering your system and surrounding that aspect of you and you. And listen to the space into which those sounds unfold. You. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Breathe. Whatever you just saw or felt, perceived, I invite you to embrace it and collect all that energy that feels outside of you now. Breathe it back into you. And take your time to land back in your chair or wherever you are. Feel your body. As you take your time to open your eyes, I'm going to tell you something that I perceived during the singing. For me, there was a message of freedom and safety around that. I kept getting that image of a child that stands looking out over a field of grass and flowers. And I just kept hearing the word freedom. So whatever that means to you, I'm not going to give you an interpretation. Yeah, thank you for letting me share this with you.
Wow,
That's
that's so beautiful that you said it, because I had another healing session last week, which was called the Akashic Records healing, where the healer would channel through my Akashic Records. And she saw the exact image that you said. She saw a little child looking at flowers. So again, with the flowers that we were speaking about, I love flowers for some reason. And it was already, when she was saying it, I was laughing because she said the same thing. She said that expansion and that kind of freedom and openness and all that, you know, fields and flowers represent. It's it's so wonderful to hear you saw the same image. It's like there's something for me in it.
That's amazing. Yeah. And totally, like now that you say that expansion, I feel like, especially us sensitive people, in these times, everything can feel kind of really tight. And to allow ourselves to really open up a little bit more and let ourselves expand. And even if it's within us, you know, and to know that it's safe to do that.
Mm-hmm. And when you were doing the singing, it was like there was some feeling of pain releasing, pain meaning emotional kind of. So while you do the sound, is there a specific topic like either fear or sadness or anything, that is there a specific message to the sound itself, or is it just general? Do you feel any emotions is what I think I'm asking while you are singing?
Yeah. So this one was very short, but what I kept hearing, what I said was this freedom, and I didn't really get much more information, but it just felt very harmonious to me. Often though, I will feel like, okay, this feels like really moving forward, or this feels like, oh, you know that your pain is seen. Like this is what I get often, like know that you're safe and you're seen and you're not alone. And yeah, I will feel that. Yeah, and I definitely feel like, you know, I have guidance when I do that. So I just allow myself to trust and let whatever wants to come. Yeah.
Wow, so beautiful that you could do this kind of a small channeling even in a live interview that we are recording. So that's so beautiful. I mean, I think viewers would, so that's kind of what happens during maybe a small demo version of the session itself. So that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Friederike. And my dear viewers, you have the link of Friederike in the link below. You can click on that and book a session with her if you would like. And when you click the link below, it takes you to the 0 Point Healing page where you see book a session button. When you click on that, you can actually have a chat with her before you kind of decide on what kind of session you want to book with her. As well as you also have an additional 10% off discount coupon code just for watching this video, and the coupon code is 0 Point. And when you contact her, you can just mention the 0 Point and you can get your 10% off as well.
I just wanted to mention, I actually would like to offer 25%. So, so for anyone who's interested, if that's okay with you, like,
oh yes, why not?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was so beautiful and surprise gift. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to be your first client, by the way, after the interview.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah, I love trying different modalities, and every healing session that I've done, regardless of the healer, it has always helped me remove next layer of whatever is blocking me in whichever area of my life. So I'm like an adventurer into the healing modalities, and I try to kind of test, not just test, but experience each of these modalities and
Yeah.
amazing, intuitive gifts that each healer brings to the table. And for me, it's like having a delicious meal, doing a healing session. So thank you so much for that additional bonus, my dear viewers. So we have 25% off on first booking. So please do use 0 point coupon code when you contact her. And thank you so much. Thank you, Friederike. That was such an amazing session. I absolutely enjoyed every second of it. I hope you did too.
I did. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you have this platform. You do these interviews. That's like a real blessing for me and for everyone, I guess, who gets to do this. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right, my dear viewers, I'm going to see you in my next show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel and please share this video, especially if you know of somebody who's going through any kind of major issues in life that they are trying to overcome. This video and even the healing session that we had in this video itself might help them. So please do share with as many friends and family as you can. Thank you so much for all your support. I'm going to see you next time. Bye-bye.